This case is done. You do what you feel. You want to pull Avon in on half a case? You go ahead. You want to put my shit in the street? Feel free. But the Eastern had a lot of stories. Mine ain't the only one. A lot of people came through that district. If you were gonna do me, I'd already be done. But there ain't nothing you fear more than a bad headline, is there? You'd rather live in shit than let the world see you work a shovel. You can order warrants, and I'll serve them. But as long as I have days left on those dead wires, this case goes on.
All right, we're live.
Oh, great. Look at that.
Live from Saturday night.
Yeah.
The franchisees.
We have a special guest today, Joel.
We're killing strangers. Hello, everyone. I'm Joel Edmiston. I'm thinking I'm back.
Yeah, Joel is back for the first time.
For the first time. I'm thinking I'm back. Thanks for having me. For real. I love John Wick, and I love John Wick 3.
Yeah.
So, I honestly, I think, Ben, you and I were living together when John Wick 3 came out, or maybe right after.
I think that sounds right.
And I remember when it hit streaming, I watched that opening scene so many times in my bedroom. Like the opening fight scene.
That's
yeah,
what that noise
those
was,
noises were. So I would, if you did this episode and didn't have me on, I would have been truly offended.
Yeah, well, no, of course. That's why you're here.
This was actually like a really requested episode to be on.
Really?
Oh, really?
I only mean one other person, friend of the pod, big listener, Jeremy. We
sorry,
shouted out
Jeremy.
once. Yeah. He was like, can I come on the John Wick with the Iron Chef guy? And I was like, I think someone's already coming on for that. And we unfortunately only have 3 microphones. We tried to do 4 people with 3 microphones once, and it sounded kind of crummy.
It's a little, yeah. Like most episodes, but especially that episode, I am much louder than everybody else. It's funny listening to it. Yeah. Anyway,
We should get a 4th mic.
we're listening, we're learning, we're growing as people.
A chapter 4th mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, not a bad idea.
And
We're in Parabellum stages right now.
Yeah.
and we'll get you on sometime, Jeremy.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Sorry, Jeremy, but I'm reaping the benefits. I know his name and not just as the Iron Chef guy, so maybe that makes me more qualified.
Oh, yeah. Well, shots fired at Jeremy and
Mark Dacascos.
yep. Speaking of another actor, we want to start off right at the top with a big rest in peace to Lance Reddick.
Mm-hmm.
We just heard the news yesterday that he died at the age of 60. He's very unexpected.
Yeah.
He has a bunch of movies still in production coming out, including John Wick 4.
Coming out literally in 6 days.
And so yeah, it's really we were all really bummed, and I don't know. He was like one of the best parts of The Wire, absolutely, and a really like welcome face in these movies. Like
Yeah, and it's like he plays kind of a fuddy-duddy in The Wire, if I remember right.
Yeah.
So it was so fun to see him play the comedy parts that he got to play. He was really funny in the show called Corporate. Did you ever watch that show?
No.
Oh my god, that show's so good. And he plays sort of like a twist on that, like a CEO character, and gets to really have fun with it. But obviously he's really good in The Wire and when he's playing the kind of buttoned-up roles. But when he gets to let loose, obviously we were talking about the Eric Andre thing.
yes, yeah,
Great performance.
Yeah, very funny, and
I wish I would have all burden.
yeah, you should absolutely go check out that clip of Lance Reddick on the Eric Andre show if you haven't seen it.
And watch Corporate.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And Oz. He has a brief stint on Oz.
Oh, there you
Plays
go.
undercover cop Johnny Basil, who goes undercover in prison, I guess.
And I think the creators of Godzilla vs. Kong
Yes.
should release the Reddit cut.
Yes, yeah.
Did you watch that?
I think I did, yeah.
He's in it in the background. He's basically a background character.
It's disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I had my way, and God willing, one day I will, I would have made it Godzilla versus Kong versus Reddick.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I think that is what it originally was, and they're like, "This is a whole hour. We
Yeah.
don't have time."
yeah. Listen, we had to go back and retool it and do some reshoots.
People didn't really. The test audiences didn't understand why Lance Reddick was playing himself, fighting Godzilla.
a giant
Kong.
Lance Reddick kaiju.
Well, what I love about Lance Reddick was he was so unexpectedly jacked. Like, I remember watching The Wire. That was probably my first real exposure to him, like, for a longer period of time. And he's, like you said, he's like an uptight kind of suit. And then he takes his suit off, and it's like, oh my God, like, I thought this was like a feeble 40-year-old man, but he's cut like a Greek statue. It was incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jeez,
and
we've had a couple people go from The Wire lately.
yeah,
Is The Wire the new Glee?
It could be. Yeah, it could be.
Who else died from The Wire?
Michael K. Williams.
Oh,
yeah, just about a year ago, right?
Right, yeah.
I would say maybe two. Well, I mean, it's every character on The Wire is like one of the greatest characters on The Wire. But two of the best characters in The Wire, Omar and Cedric Daniels, are gone.
It's not Dominic Moynihan. What's his name? Dominic
Monahan?
West.
Is it? No, West.
Dominic West. Yeah, fucking.
McNulty.
Watch out, buddy.
Watch out. Yeah.
Watch out, McNulty.
Yeah.
You're next.
Yeah.
Don't go on any long boat rides, is what I'm saying.
It's the franchisee's curse.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
a lot of other people who we talk
Mike
about.
Myers, Dana Carvey are about to both spontaneously combust.
Watch out, Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, Jordan.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at any given point, Jordan Peterson is knocking on death's door.
Yeah,
right?
true.
He did you see the tweet that he sent with the fetish video attached to it?
No.
No.
So it's like
Oh
a
my
tweet where
God.
he,
No.
like,
Oh, Alex.
somebody said it was some, China conspiracy that
Yeah.
he loves to reshare, but it was a fetish video of guys getting jacked off by machines, and it was like graphic.
Yeah.
Oh,
he,
that's where that's from. That like clip of the people
Oh, so
lying
you
down.
got it.
and-
You've seen
yeah,
the clip. Well, that's
okay.
important.
He
Yeah.
retweeted being like, what's going on here?
Yeah, the clip is from like a professionally produced like fetish video,
Oh my
and it's a bunch of
God.
guys lying on tables getting their dicks sucked by machines.
Yeah.
And there's a matrix filter over it, like the letters coming down, right?
Right.
And and some account tweeted it as if it was like Chinese propaganda, like look at the Chinese semen milking program, and he retweeted it and added his own thing, like this, the end times and whatever.
Oh, that's so dumb.
Completely like not thinking about it. And it's just funny. I saw a couple people point out, like, if he's so part of what he's obsessed with is the lack of morals in our culture, and the drag brunches are going to warp our kids' minds. Like he retweeted out to his hundreds of thousands of followers
A very bizarre fetish
an
video.
extremely it's a shocking. It's not just pornography. It's like fetish pornography.
It's weird.
It's a weird video. And
I was thinking, where do I get myself one of those?
I was looking at these guys like,
Can you get them off Amazon? A Chinese robotic milking table?
yeah,
Basically,
of course.
it was a male Sibian.
Yes, there's too much focus on the Sibian and not enough on the milking machine. Yeah. And it really was like
Maybe Howard Stern should get one of those.
Yeah. They decommissioned the Howard Stern Sibian a long time ago, I imagine.
Yeah, they tossed it in
Yeah.
one of those metal grinders with Michael Myers at the end of Halloween Ends.
It's gone.
And the toys from Toy Story 3?
Yes, all smelted down.
They're all holding hands, going to the
I can't wait to get
The
to
Sibian.
Yeah, to get to the Toy Story 3
And
where
Howard Stern's the Deus Ex Machina. No!
Not this.
Oh yeah, one last Lance Reddick role in The Guest. I know you like that movie
I do
a lot.
love The Guest,
and
yeah.
he's in
really
that as
great in
well.
that, yeah.
He will be
Anyway.
missed.
Yeah, he will be missed. And
Watch
Oh,
out,
that
Cody's-
movie's also directed by the Godzilla vs. Kong guy,
oh, there you go.
Adam Wingard.
They're best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
we just have to stop the franchisee's curse before our sweet boy Cody Smith McPhee.
yes, who has come up on the pod but never tied to a franchise.
No,
You're going to do
Someday.
the Elvis franchise.
Oh, I can't wait.
true.
Elvis TV movie, right?
Yeah.
There's like 10 of those.
Yeah. Yeah, so R.I.P. Lance Reddick. I was honestly sad to find that out yesterday.
Yeah,
You broke
so-
the news
so
to
was
me. I didn't know.
I did, yeah. You said all caps, no.
Yeah, that's it.
I said yes. It's
I
true.
refuse to believe it.
And it's
Yeah.
and honestly, it's sad that this happens right before John Wick 4, because this is like meant to be like a triumphant time for this team. And honestly, that's what it feels like to me. But I like to in the past little while I've been consuming like John Wick interviews and stuff like that with Chad Stahelski and even Lance Reddick and Keanu Reeves a bit, and it does seem like they all love each other. They're a big family, so it just fucking sucks.
You were saying Keanu visited Lance Reddick on
his own birthday. Yeah, Lance Reddick has this quote where he's like, Keanu's girlfriend's cool as fuck, and they show up on my first day of shooting at John Wick 4, and I'm talking to his girlfriend, and his girlfriend said, I asked Keanu what he wanted to do today, and he said, I want to go see Lance.
It's beautiful.
Isn't that so nice?
Keanu's girlfriend, Ben Turnbull. Yeah.
You? Yeah.
It
was you?
Yeah. We've been dating for on and off. I try to keep it out of the tabloids, but nobody listens.
Every so often, it's just like, look at Keanu with his girlfriend. Isn't he great for dating this person?
Like you said, it's a shame he passed away like before he got a bit of love for John Wick 4.
Yeah.
Similarly, like De La Soul recently got like their back catalog up on streaming services with all that sample clearance snafu thing.
Yeah.
You're working so hard on it to
I know.
get that. Yeah.
And Trugoy passed away not too long ago.
It's really sad too.
Yogurt backwards.
Oh. There you go.
Was that on purpose?
Yep. He loved yogurt.
But you can't be you can't just be yogurt.
He's Trugoy the dove.
Oh yeah.
Yogurt. The dove.
Yeah.
He loves yogurt. That's why his name is Yogurt backwards. That's why my name is Keenoj. John Wick backwards.
I was like trying really hard to figure it out.
Nahaj. Well, before we get into John Wick 3,
yes.
Parabellum, now that we know how to say it, and what it means, which I will tell you later, let's briefly talk about the Oscars.
Yeah, last week you said that if anything interesting happened at the Oscars, we talk about it.
So I guess
we're not going to talk about it.
Yep. Snooze. Yeah. Nobody
there
got hit.
There was a slap.
Oh, who slapped who?
I slapped myself because I kept falling asleep.
Yeah. Boring. Yeah. I my greatest fear is realized that like after last year, the craziest Oscars, the only Oscars that could have topped the Moonlight La La Land kind of mix up is for Will Smith to assault Chris Rock on stage.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Coda winning Best Picture.
Oh yeah, that was weird too, but in a different way, in a schmaltzy way, not in a this is hilarious and also really sad and pathetic. Yeah, so where do you go from there? Like, of course, it wasn't going to be as good.
It was similar to the year after the Moonlight Oscars, where Jimmy Kimmel hosted.
Right.
Just tried to keep it a normal night. We make a couple jokes about last year, and then we just give it to the people we thought were going to get it. You know?
Yeah. At least they put all of the categories live. Like they presented them all live instead of doing that thing they did a couple years ago. Like
and Cocaine Bear was there.
Yeah,
that was so cringe.
That was freaking epic.
I watched Cocaine Bear the other day. Yeah,
I watched it too.
You both sound so sad.
I was really disappointed by how mid it was. Like for a
How
movie
could you
called.
be disappointed?
I knew it was going to be bad, and it was even worse.
Oh,
for me.
okay.
It was bad. And also. Another Wire alum, the guy who plays Senator Clay Davis, was in it.
Oh yeah.
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 And it was just very boring and unfunny, and had some pretty weird and shitty directing choices.
Here's my pitch for Cocaine Bear: drop the cocaine. Yeah. Make a bear movie.
Sure. Yeah, like a Grizzly style.
Yeah. Honestly, like if you want to do like a 80s set. Killer bear movie with some like comedy people and some like good actors and shit, go for it. The cocaine stuff was so lame.
It was lame because a scene where children are imbibing cocaine should be way funnier than it was. And also people do cocaine, but they don't actually like, they're never on cocaine. They're just like, hey, remember when we did cocaine? And it's like, yeah, but you don't see them talking a lot or like gumming or anything.
Weird.
Like,
it's weird that how like the cocaine element of Cocaine Bear is like epic baconified.
Yeah.
Like it's not even, what I'm trying to say is kids, cocaine, not cool anymore. before Cocaine Bear came out, still cool, still dangerous.
True. Cocaine
But
Bear
they ruined
kind of
it.
tanked cocaine's star.
Yeah.
It has like a
It's not cool.
14-year-old's understanding of cocaine. it
Exactly.
seems. Yeah.
Dude, yeah. And the crowd, I don't know about you, but the crowd I saw loved it. And they were like hooting and hollering and reacting as like I feel like the filmmakers would have expected. But part of me felt like, because it was these groups of people almost going as an event, right?
Yeah.
So they had to like, because if you convince 6 of your friends to go see a movie this like middle of the road, you kind of have to like perform that you're enjoying it to kind of get them riled up into it, because it was such a, I'd be pissed if my friend was like, yo, come see Cocaine Bear. I was stoned too and I didn't find it funny.
Dude, you on weed or on cocaine?
Ketamine.
Yeah, yeah.
I was
Plot
so
twist.
stoned
Should've
on
done
cocaine.
Dude, so yeah, it's like in those like you see an old timey movie every now and again, and someone will be drinking and they're like, I'm so high. It's great.
The hooting and hollering is like something I, in theory, am happy with. That audiences are participating in stuff. Not participating, but enjoying stuff enough to like give a reaction, because you guys just watched me watch John Wick 3.
Yes.
I do that.
Joel was rubbing his hands together like ooh, what's for dinner style.
Yeah.
You seem pretty titillated.
Yeah.
Seriously, and I
You do
know I'm
love
going
movies.
to be doing the same thing in John Wick 4. So I appreciate it, but it does kind of feel like in right now, 2023, after a pandemic, all this stuff, it feels like, you know, we haven't eaten in so long and they're giving us fucking dry rice. And I'm like, yes, give me this dry rice. It's so good.
Possibly. Yeah.
And like, I don't know, like, I love like the Midnight Madness TIFF audiences and stuff. Like, and even any TIFF audience is great, but what's great about those audiences, they're also not talking. They're also not on their phones. You know what? I don't hate going to see Cocaine Bear and there's like hooting and hollering in the theater. Like, whatever. As long as you're like not running up and down the aisles and like being insane.
I had more laughs like at the audience. You know, me and my friend I saw it with, we kept like turning to each other being like, is everyone okay?
Yeah.
There was a group of like I don't know, adult men in front of us. Like I saw like wedding rings on their hands and stuff. They look like, I don't know, dads out on a night out, you know, let's go see Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
And
remember when we used to do cocaine?
Yeah. And one of them, like the one sitting directly in front of me, there's a scene where someone gets like a couple of their fingers shot off their hands. And I quote him, he went, huh, Johnny 3 fingers over here.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what?
Great. Yeah, he should have written the movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was weird.
It was the guy from Mystery Science Theater, was
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and it happened when I watched Scream 6 the other day, which honestly I was like kind of excited for. I was like, oh, cool, these kids are like, it was 4 p.m. on a Saturday at Yorkdale Mall. I was like, okay, this is kind of cool that kids are getting into a Scream movie, I guess.
It's kind of cool that there are Scream movies still anyway.
Yeah, it's like cool. And like when one of the characters died, they were like, oh no, not them. I was like, okay, I don't care about these characters, but okay, I'm glad they do.
I was happy they were enjoying it,
yeah.
you know. Cocaine Bear did look like it was trying to do a bit with Malala at the Oscars, which was really like strange.
Oh yeah. At first I was like,
why is Malala here?
yeah, she was nominated for a short of some kind, documentary short,
or it might have been a full documentary. I don't know.
Maybe. But yeah, that well, the crowd work bit at the Oscars is like that the Krusty thing where he's like, crowd work, so always dies. Yeah. Yeah, Jimmy, you know.
I didn't like that they cut off the visual effects guys who went for Avatar, you know, who probably worked. Say what you will about Avatar: Way of Water, those visual effects guys probably worked their ass off to make that movie look the way it did.
Insane.
And they cut them off. I stopped watching after a certain point, but that was the only speech I saw them like play off with music. And almost immediately, as soon as the second guy started talking, I felt bad for them.
Yeah, I mean there's so much work in Avatar. They should be able to go for 3 hours if they wanted to.
And because of that award, Avatar beat Sammy Fableman movie, the Irish movie. What else? You know, the music movie Tar.
The only movies that won.
The other music movie, Elvis.
Elvis got nothing, right?
Nothing.
Yeah.
And I was in my Oscar pool. I put that surprised when All Quiet on the Western Front was winning a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, Elvis is going to get like art direction and costumes and makeup and all that stuff. And then didn't get any.
Yeah.
And then that's when I knew that Brendan Fraser was going to win.
Yeah. So the Whale won 2 awards, which is, again, 2 more than Sammy Fableman and Mitzi and Bert.
And Uncle Boris.
Yeah. And, of course, it won makeup and hairstyling and performance for Brendan Fraser. And it's funny when there are a couple times where that's happened. I'm pretty sure Darkest Hour won. And then...
The makeup?
Yeah, makeup. And then...
Eyes of Tammy Faye. And both of those actors won the Oscar, right? Like, that's how you got to do it in Hollywood. They put a bunch of shit on you. Yeah.
That's how you win these days.
Yeah, and inspired by the Whale's win in makeup, I revisited a past nominee in the category that shared a similar sort of fat suit aesthetics, Norbit. I'd never seen it before, and let me tell you,
it's good.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but I will say that Eddie Murphy gives probably one of his best performances in that movie.
4 of his best performances.
Yeah, it's only 3. It's 3.
Three.
Yes, he plays the titular Norbit. He plays Norbit's wife, Rasputia, who's the big, fat lady. And then he plays, quite racistly, I might add, an old Chinese man.
Yes,
I do and when the Academy, I mean, it was 2008. This is right around the time when Robert Downey Jr. was nominated for a blackface performance.
Right.
Yep. And so when the Academy nominates Norbit for Best Makeup, they are nominating not just the fat suit, but also the old Asian man makeup.
Wait, did Norbit actually get nominated?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So did Bad Grandpa.
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's the craziest category in the show. The only one I care about now, actually.
But I wish they would, because it was created to give Rick Baker an Oscar for American Werewolf. I wish they would.
Rick Baker worked on Norbit. Yep.
Oh my god.
Yep.
So he was nominated that year.
Yeah.
I wish they would go back to giving it to horror stuff though.
Yeah,
know?
Definitely.
Well, we don't really get like horror that relies on like monster, ghoulish makeup.
Well,
You're not watching the right stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Not at the Oscar
You're
level.
right. Art the Clown should have won.
Yeah.
I know you're a big Terrifier 2 fan.
I wouldn't say big, but I think it's an improvement on the first Terrifier.
I think I might watch that tomorrow. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh yeah,
Blu-ray.
it's kind of the John Wick 4 of the Terrorizer franchise. In
John
the
Wick
sense,
4?
Yes, in the sense that it's twice the length of the original.
All right. Yes. No, there is a lot of makeup effects still going on.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. I mean, even in Barbarian.
Yeah.
I still haven't
big
seen
one.
that.
Yeah.
I'm so
And
dumb.
X obviously had all the old age makeup.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
true.
but I mean, like
nominated.
like gore makeup is, I think, allowed to get nominations and stuff.
It should. Yeah.
Yeah.
It should. I placed third in my Oscar pool, or tied for third. And I got fucked by Fraser. Fucked by the Whale.
I got fucked by Blanchett.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I guess by Yo.
Yeah.
Presented by Halle Berry, who's in John Wick 3.
Exactly.
It all comes back.
It all comes
just
back.
like a parabola.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what that means. But anyway, I do want to say congratulations to Brendan Fraser. I don't think it was deserved, but that's kind of the way the Oscars go. However, like I was talking about last week with one of my favorite Best Actor acceptance speeches, Will Smith, Brendan Fraser followed it up with a very weird and inexplicably aquatic themed speech.
I haven't
where
watched
he was just like, he made a bunch of whale related puns, and he was like talking about how
I thought you were going to say he made whale noises.
I wish
He did whale
He's
song.
like, you're my ballast and you're my
he brought Payakan,
yeah,
Payakan, the outcast Tulkun, on stage.
yeah, by far the best whale.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Is that the one that died recently?
Payakan? Oh no, Payakan's from Avatar 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's the one with half a fin.
Right.
Yeah.
Of
No,
course.
the real
Tulkun
whale that died was like
in Marine Land or something.
yeah,
R.I.P.
yeah.
that whale.
Yeah. I want to thank Shamu. I want to thank Tilikum. Anyway.
Yeah. He was like Hong Chow, who's talents are as deep as a whale in the ocean.
Really weird. And he's also the whole award cycle he's been perpetually crying and huffing and listen, I get it. It's very emotional, but
and there's something charming about how he's like, fuck it, this is the way I am now.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I actually watched Airheads because I hadn't seen it.
Where did you watch it?
DVD.
Oh, God bless you. Yeah. It's just not anywhere. I've been looking for it.
He's so hot in that.
He is really hot. Yeah. It's a weird pairing because it's like him and Sandler, which kind of makes sense, and then Buscemi, who's giving a very committed performance.
And Michael Richards is in it, too.
So this is why I wanted to bring it up, because they're in a band, and they take over a radio station with fake guns to get them to play their music. And so it's like a siege sort of hostage situation. And there's a mini subplot with Michael Richards as like an accountant for the radio station, who is the only one left in the building who isn't a hostage, and he's running around in the air ducts, and it's like a Die Hard parody. Yeah. But it's actually pretty funny because it's Michael Richards. He in a time before he was what he is now. Yeah, Kramer, yeah. He's crawling around in the air ducts, but the air ducts are like actual functioning air ducts. They're blowing him around and kicking him around all the time. It's kind of
that's funny.
Good.
I haven't seen that movie since cable TV, so I'd be curious to watch it
quite a
again.
bit on TV as a kid.
I remember it being on like a lot.
I'll tell you, it's okay. Yeah.
Sweet.
There's some laughs. Yeah.
That's more than you could say about Cocaine Bear.
You guys, I didn't listen to your Die Hard stuff. You guys did that, but you just did Die Hard. You didn't do any Die Hard ripoffs.
No, we just.
There's a big controversy around Die Hard at the moment. People want to know: are you going to do Die Hard?
Everyone is screaming at us, Die Hard.
Explain to me this.
Yeah.
Because there's all this shit. Like there's Die Hard, but then there's Die Hard 2. But then I look up that it's all just one thing. It's a TV show or is it a movie?
I think it's because, to my understanding, Ben had to explain it to me. It originally started as the Quibi thing. That didn't go anywhere, but they brought it back recently on Amazon under the name Die Hard to Die Harder, I guess.
I believe so.
But it's the same thing.
Initially, it was a quick bites, 10 minutes at a time show.
Yes,
and I think they made a sequel to it now.
Quibi, the best idea of all time.
Yeah, one of the greatest ideas.
We could all agree on that.
Yeah. This show is presented by Quibi.
Sponsored.
I wonder, does Die Hard have the Die Hard ripoff thing where it's like something's happening and then he's behind the scenes trying to?
I imagine. We haven't done our research yet, but we will.
We haven't
we
watched.
will.
Yeah, we will.
I love the Die Hard movies, so I will go back and listen to those episodes. But
there's some
what
of the
I
best.
friggin' love is Die Hard ripoffs.
What is your favorite? I watched one that I know that you like recently.
Sudden Death?
Yes. Oh my God. Oh
yeah.
No, you probably saw it on Letterboxd or something.
Well,
did I tell you I watched?
Well,
it?
no, I don't know if you did, but I do love him.
No way.
I'm wearing my JCVD sweater right now.
Yeah, Joel has taken off his outer shirt and revealed a JCVD shirt underneath, and he's taken that shirt off and revealed a full tattoo chest piece of JCVD.
Yeah, I'm a big Jean-Claude Van Damme fan, which I have an analogy. When we get into some stuff, what makes John Wick so good?
Let's do it. Fuck the Oscars.
Yeah, that's the end of that. Yeah, well, start us off with that, and then I'll tell us what Parabellum means.
I'm such a big John Wick fan.
Because I Googled it.
I believe that Chad Stahelski is like a quiet genius.
Sure.
For what he's done with these three movies, and surely the fourth. I just have ultimate faith in him, to be honest.
Their early reviews have been very positive. Yes. Yeah.
I just think he has an instinct to make a good action film before he has instinct to make a moneymaker. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. More than most all filmmakers, basically. The John Wick franchise to me is similar to when you find a really good DTV action movie, in that it just feels like they're getting away with something.
Right. Yeah, like it's under the table.
Yeah, under the table. Yes,
they say in the John Wick movies.
Yeah, and it's like they're playing like mommy and daddy aren't watching, you know.
Right.
And I think that is what Lionsgate has set up for them. They don't have any notes, basically.
It's pretty cool.
They gave him like.
Don't say it.
I was going to say carte blanche, but you don't want me to say blank check.
yeah. We should rename this show Carte Blanche.
Yeah.
That'd be good. Yeah.
Filmmakers who succeed in their career when they first start and are given a series of
Carte blanche.
Carte blanches.
Carte blanches. Yeah.
And it just like, I think instinct wise, just to show like Jean-Claude Van Damme has been in DTV world for a while.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And his like a theatrical release he had recently was Expendables 2. And
Is that the last one? Probably, right?
If not, it's one of them.
Wasn't there a movie after that called like I Am Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Well, there's JCVD. The
Oh,
film.
that's it. Yeah.
And I don't know if it's before or after though.
I think it's before. Yeah.
Before
it's like late
Expendables.
2000s.
The first Expendables, I wasn't obsessively online at this time, but I can imagine people were like, "Where the hell is Jean-Claude Van Damme?" Right?
Right.
But so I think it was cool that Stallone made him the villain, right? But Stallone's idea of having Jean-Claude Van Damme as the villain was to be like this kind of villain that just kind of like sits and tells people what to do and shit, right?
He doesn't actually get in the action.
Yeah, Van Damme had to say to Stallone, "We have to fight, man.
Yeah.
People are going to be mad if we don't fight.
Yeah.
We're action stars. We need to fight each other."
Yeah, and that's the whole point of this franchise.
Yeah,
right?
but Stallone is just about money makers, you know, like he's not hiring people for their skill set. He's hiring people because they're movie stars, right?
Yeah, for the name.
And so the best part, I think, of the Expendables franchise is the fight scene between Jean-Claude Van Damme and Sylvester Stallone. So just as an analogy, basically, like Stallone's thing of just making it about just big and flashy and sexy, right? And then Van Damme being like, no, this needs to be an action movie.
Right.
Just remember that. I think that's what Chad Stahelski's like mindset is. I think it's probably even more refined than that, but like he's just like for example, his casting choices, right? Like the new Fast and Furious movie has Jason Momoa coming in, but in John Wick 3 it's Mark Dacascos.
Yeah,
And Jason Mantzoukas.
Yeah. The deadliest assassin.
Yeah, so like I don't know, like even in John Wick 3, the casting choices are less sexy than like for the villains are less sexy than John Wick 2 because he had like Common and who's the other one in John Wick 2? Italian guy.
Like the main.
Ruby Rose.
Right.
Ruby Rose. So like, not that Ruby Rose is like the sexiest, but maybe more popular at that time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And for this one, he's like, no, I want the guys from the Raid. I want Mark Dacascos.
Big-handed Boban Marjanovic from the NBA.
I want it to be, he has a specific idea for what he wants in a fight scene, and then he's just like, we're going to pull it off that way, you know?
Yeah, I get that, and I'm grateful that John Wick 1 was a hit that enabled him to kind of explore these things, because John Wick 1 was good, but the second and third one have been so, as we said last time, balls to the wall.
Yeah.
And they take it to 11 and they go to these extremes. John Wick 3 and 2 kind of in different ways, but in ways I still enjoyed. But it's like John Wick 1, like it was really like a 50-50 chance of whether it would do well enough to warrant sequels or not. And I'm just really happy it did. Like I guess it tapped into the dog love and it scratched enough of that like hard R action visceral itch. Because I think it's a good movie, but I really have been digging these sequels. These sequels rock.
Definitely. And it's kind of like looking at modern day or current ongoing action franchises. You either have ones that I think, to your point, Joel, are motivated entirely by profit and or some whatever IP thing,
sexy movie star thing.
Yeah. Or you have ones that like John Wick or maybe Mission Impossible, right? That are like, obviously those movies are focused on profit and all these other things. They're so expensive, they have no choice to be. But I feel like John Wick and Mission Impossible have a similar sort of ethos behind them of like thinking about what the fan is going to actually experience while watching the movie, as opposed to just whatever thinking about all your executive notes and whatever.
Slap it together.
Slap it together. Yeah, it's
Edit
very
it
cynical.
to
right?
the very bare minimum of cohesion kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I think very much those two movies. The idea starts with okay, here's this awesome thing we want to do.
Yeah, we want to kill Tom Cruise.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. But we can't murder him. He has to suicide himself.
Yeah, Mission Impossible especially. But like I like thinking about the dog scene in John Wick 3, right?
Yeah.
He's like he had that idea way before he even like started thinking about John Wick 3. It's just like I need to have a scene where like dogs are fighting, basically.
Tactical dog action. Yeah.
And that's kind of the mid movie set piece, right? I think we paused the movie right after that, and it was like an hour into this 2-hour movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
And it's like you also pointed out the scene where he's running through New York fighting people, and they wind up in like the horse stables, and you mentioned that he was probably just like in Central Park, and he was like, I wonder where they keep the horses. Mm-hmm. And then he was like found out and was like, I'm gonna set a fight scene there.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah.
Where they used horses as weapons.
Yeah.
This movie proved that you could use anything as a weapon. Books,
yes.
Horses, dogs.
Yes. Not just the sharp end of the knife, but also the handle.
Yeah. So what the first John Wick sets up is this man that A, we're rooting for, B, is like an absolute killing machine, will kill anybody easily, right? Mm-hmm. And we're rooting for him because of this dog thing, because of his wife thing. And it's like, it is also like pretty unfascist, like the way the setup, like it's not like a Death Wish type situation. You know what I mean?
It isn't the or as we talked about in Die Hard, his redemption through extreme violence. Like he's a failed wife guy who has to slaughter hundreds of people.
American.
To get hard again. Yeah.
Right.
And you can't say that to John Wick because turns out he's Belarusian.
It's true. Yes.
So his name Jordy John Wickovich?
Jardani Jovovich.
Jardani
Jovanovich.
Jovan John Wickovich.
Mila Jovovich.
Yeah.
Mila Jovovich.
Yeah, so this whole time, like, the first movie, we set up John Wick. The second movie, they explode the world. Yeah. It's like so much deeper. The third movie, nothing happens. We just learned that his name is Jardani this whole time. Yeah, which was a huge revelation for me.
It's funny, and I mentioned this when we were watching it, but it makes the fact that because it's already kind of dumb that Ian McShane calls this man named John Jonathan.
Yeah,
it's already kind of dumb because it's like
paternalistic term of endearment. Yeah,
but then you find out that it's actually Jardani, so you're not even giving him his real name.
You should call him Donnie.
Yeah. So. So in the first movie they set up this guy, right? And then in 2 and 3, 2 is kind of more just kind of pushing like, okay, you saw us do this, but this is that, but a lot more.
Yeah.
But then we get to 3 and it's just like, no, you know that guy? What if he did this? What if he did this? What if he did this? And then it just kind of pushes those all together.
Yeah, well, I think the surprises 2 had up its sleeve was like, this is how deep Assassin World goes,
Yes.
And we were watching and we were like, oh my god, they're an assassin. They already kind of pulled those tricks. So in this movie, they don't even like, it really just starts like picks up immediately and kind of goes from there. They don't really bother to like hold your hand and bring you up to speed, which I kind of appreciated. Yeah. There's no flashbacks or anything.
I remember I watched this with my girlfriend's roommates in 2019 or something, and they had not seen any of them, and like looking back, I'm like, what the fuck were they thinking? Like, what did they think was going on?
Yeah, it just kind of throws you into it, and instead of, the surprises aren't really the reveals of these people are assassins and this and that. It's more like you said, situational specific combat set pieces, and they're all executed really well.
Yeah, I mean that's the Chad Stahelski thing too. Like he has been a fight choreographer for so long and like been a part of that in all different ways, and then he knows on set if it's going to come across, like he knows just by seeing the director doing like it, like he'll choreograph something and then he'll watch it and it'll be cut to shit,
Yeah, exactly. That must be really frustrating for him.
Yeah,
like throughout his career, and now he's getting it all out.
Yeah, I honestly can't tell you what he's doing to show us exactly how this is. I think CGI is a lot.
Yeah,
him,
and other editing tricks like definitely a lot of sound effects editing to sell certain moments and so on. But I think a lot of directors, you hear directors talk about, or actors maybe talking about directors where they're like, oh, it was great working with friend of the pod and guest Marty Scorsese.
Of course.
Rival
Today by Joel Cohen.
Or Joel Silver because we're
Yes.
doing action.
Yeah.
Except he's not a nice guy. Probably you're a nice guy.
Probably not, but
Yeah.
you know, he's good. There's some good movies in there.
It's true. Yeah, and that's what counts at the end of the day, right? No, you hear people talking about directors like, oh, they have the whole film in their head, right? So they know how everything cuts together.
They said that about Tarantino around Kill Bill.
Yeah.
They were like, he wrote out the whole fight scene, like exactly how he wanted to shoot it and stuff.
Well, yeah, and I think like obviously that's a skill a director needs to have, or maybe even a bare minimum or something. But when you think about that in terms of like an action film like this, like it's, and I'm not trashing any other movie that doesn't have someone kick someone in the face or shoot someone in the face, but there's a lot of logistical problems that. It's kind of like a whole different language, right? Like
Totally.
this type of action filmmaking. To actually have it properly cut together and land and be visceral.
It's a way of thinking. It's like an impressive way of thinking, you know, like it's almost how Michael Bay can marshal together all this CGI madness. And, you know, whether or not he has a really good grasp of what's happening, who knows? But, you know, he gets it done.
He has a vision.
He does
Yeah.
have a vision, yeah.
Chad.
I've seen an ambulance,
Ambulance.
yeah, which I think is probably one of his better movies. Right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially post 2000.
Yeah.
Yes, what you guys are saying about Chad is like true. I think just like that he just has the vision, and I think Keanu, not to sell him short either. I think
No.
He is also very like I was saying earlier. It's a big team environment, right? He's a part of this team. Like he's an idea man as much as he is just a guy there. Like and like I said to you guys before we started recording, I watched Man of Tai Chi last night.
Yes,
and
which he directed, right?
And those fight scenes, you see him beginning to end, you know. And here's another thing about Chad Stahelski, rehearsal, big time rehearsal.
Right.
That dog scene, apparently, those dogs lived with Halle Berry for 5 months.
Is that true?
That's crazy.
5 months, they rehearsed every day. She got to know those dogs, all this shit. 5 months.
It shows on the screen.
It does show, yeah. When the dogs go and bite the bad guy's crotch, you feel that they're biting it for Halle Berry.
Protection.
On Halle Berry's behalf.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm just kind of repeating this, like a few interviews he did. That's more than we're doing. Yeah, when John Wick 3 came out, he did a bunch of interviews, bunch of podcast interviews actually, and he not to promote another podcast.
Oh no, please.
I won't say.
Oh, okay.
But it's The Ringer.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, we're not in competition with the Ringer podcast.
Yeah. Fuck them.
We only can mention the one that rhymes with skank fleck.
Yeah, of course. And other smaller film podcasts who consciously try not to rip off.
Yeah,
this is important.
He was saying that dogs, when they're not actors, dogs aren't actors. So when they're trying to tear your dick off, they're trying to tear your dick off.
Yeah.
So not only
in that sense, they're actually better than actors.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You know, no matter how worked up Joaquin Phoenix gets, no matter how Joker-fied he becomes, when you watch him in the Joker, you know he's not gonna actually shoot anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Unless you're Will Smith with that slap.
Hey, remember that?
Yeah.
That was much more exciting than the last Oscars. Sorry.
Speaking of dogs mauling people's genitalias, I just wanted to say that before Cocaine Bear, they showed a trailer for this upcoming movie Strays, and me and my friend, we were stoned. It's like Will Ferrell and Jamie Foxx voicing dogs. And Will Forte is Will
like CGI dog? Or
no, they're like combination of like real dogs and like their mouths move to speak.
Right. Babe style.
Yeah, and like
Good boy style.
Good boy style. Yeah.
Will Forte like banishes his dog, which is Will Ferrell, because he hates it. And Will Forte is always funny when he's huffy and puffy and angry. And then Will Ferrell, like his dog, realizes that he's been abandoned and vows to like bite Will Forte's dick off.
Oh, okay.
That trailer was funnier than the entirety of Cocaine Bear, and I laughed pretty heartily.
Yeah.
And I was super stoned.
There you go. Yeah. So everybody knows Hollywood runs on cocaine, probably still today to some extent, although I think designer drugs are probably more prevalent.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That sounds like an idea some people were doing cocaine and came up with, but they knew that putting cocaine in the title is pushing it into that Reddit territory. Right?
But I do think that Cocaine Bear might be better if Elizabeth Banks does cocaine.
she makes some weird choices.
Yeah.
When she presented it, she had like a throat congestion, and she sounded like she'd been up all night doing cocaine.
Oh yeah,
which was kind of added to it.
Could be that. Maybe she's
definitely
the
done
novel
cocaine.
coronavirus.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Do you think she used to do cocaine with all the Wet Hot American Summer gang?
I don't know.
Did the state do?
Yeah.
Some of them definitely did.
I just kind of assume that most people in that business and around that sort of world have done it, but
I'm trying to picture who in the state.
Joe Latruglio, big cokehead.
They're all nerds.
I'm trying
to who's the cool one?
David Wayne.
David Wayne, Michael Showalter.
No,
it's
Ken
the
Marino,
nerds who do it.
Ken
Ken
Marino would've
Marino
done
is the
cocaine.
cool one.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah,
Ken Marino's the cool one.
He's so funny on Party Down.
Yeah, they brought that back too.
I know.
That's nice. Yeah.
I've been watching it. I've never seen it before.
Oh, it's I've seen the original one. It's funny.
It's funny. It's turned me into an Adam Scott fan. I used to not like Adam Scott. Now I love Adam Scott.
Speaking of podcasts, I try really hard not to consciously rip off. I haven't listened to Comedy Bang Bang for a few years, which is good because it probably would warp my brain into.
And that's why you were surprised when Mantzoukas was in.
I was surprised, yeah, because I didn't know he called him the TikTok man, but I must have picked that up at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, TikTok, Mr. Wick. It's so funny. Yeah. Oh wait, what was I talking about? Podcast?
You were talking about. I think you were talking about.
Oh yeah, well, the You Talking You Two to Me shows, and Are You Talking RHC REM RE and that's like.
Are you talking heads to my talking heads?
Yeah, that some of the things they say on that show are so in my head that I repeat them as if it's just like something everybody understands, or it's like
the slap.
Yeah, exactly. Or omnicultural or omnipresent cultural reference. And it turns out, no, actually, not that many people have listened to that compared to your average thing.
Well, I wonder if Mantzoukas will start to slip in kind of Comedy Bang Bang references into John Wick 4.
That would be pretty cool. Do you think he's back? Is he on the cast list?
I think so. I think he's in it.
Thank God.
Yeah,
that's really funny.
I hope he has a fight scene.
That'd be really cool. I want to see maybe not John Wick, because Mantzoukas is an ally.
Yes.
But I do want to see somebody fight Jason Mantzoukas.
Ian McShane?
Yeah, that would be pretty cool, yeah.
He's the one who dispatches Winston.
I watched The House recently. I hadn't seen that when it came out.
Oh, yeah, I never saw that.
People said it was kind of funny, but it's a good Mantzoukas performance. Yeah,
I heard
for
he's
sure.
funny, and it's sort of like Lauren Lapkus and the Real Susie or whatever.
Oh yeah, or The Wrong Missy.
The Wrong Missy.
Yeah.
No, it's called The Real Susie.
Yeah, The Real Susie. I almost watched that to see her, but then
she is funny in it.
Oh God, the idea of watching a David Spade film.
Well, I mean, speaking of other podcasts, I do kind of like his podcast with Dana Carvey.
Oh well, now we got to listen to that.
Well, I'm just glad Dana Carvey's up and about.
Yeah, me too.
It's a very popular podcast, apparently. Especially, I mean, I'm a
bet.
comedian, and among comedian friends, there was a time where we were referencing Fly on the Wall quite a bit.
Yes, that's right. This is another franchisee's first. The first comedian on the show. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, listen.
Professional comedian.
Yeah, professional, because every other guest we've had
you think
a
they're
bunch
fucking
of
comedians,
jokers. You know what I mean?
Pretty funny.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about DC. I'm talking about fools, court jesters. And now we have a professional stand-up comedian here. So
Tell us a joke.
yeah, it's like like in
I just know that's what comedians
John
hate
Wick
to
say
hear.
to Pikachu.
yeah, the David Lynch in that episode of Louie.
Right.
Yeah, another great show that is tainted
we love
forever. Yeah, bring on the funny. Yeah, funny now. Go.
Well, yeah. Now we have a better iconic David Lynch.
Yes,
playing
thank God.
a Hollywood
Yeah.
big head.
Old coot.
Yeah.
Cantankerous
And
old man.
we have a one set in stone. That's why I was like really grateful when Laurie Metcalf was in Lady Bird, because I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, so now we don't have to say Laurie Metcalf's best performance is in Horace and Pete.
Yeah, or Roseanne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which they're still making episodes of that show.
Yeah.
The Connors. With
Yeah,
no
the
reason.
Connors.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're still making Horace and Pete.
Yes,
Steve
yes.
Buscemi is trapped in that bar set, and somebody, no one, Louis is holding him captive.
Wait, they're still making episodes of Roseanne without Roseanne?
It's called The Connors.
Yeah.
What's it-
After she got canceled, they just went on with the show, and it's
Wow.
she died. Did they kill her? Or,
Yeah, she got fucking sandwiched by a dump truck.
yeah.
Ooh, Anton Yelkin style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, in almost Jeremy Renner style.
That's right.
But he's okay.
He's okay. Yeah. The legions of fans on the Jeremy Renner app.
Yeah. And everybody was
Hawkeye.
like, no, we need more Mayor of Kingstown. He must survive.
He's everyone's favorite Avenger. Yeah.
There's a couple other things. Oh, basically, the one thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Because you guys talked about how they called their shot with Buster Keaton.
Yeah.
They play a Buster Keaton clip at the beginning of this movie as well.
Yes, there's a bit of the general.
In Times Square.
In Times
In
Square.
Times Square,
yeah.
which of
It's always
course
there.
that's what's
Yeah.
always happening at
Yeah.
Times Square.
They
They're playing
they've
Cold Blood.
the Buster Keaton estate is now licensed his.
Yes.
Yeah, he was selling tickets to Hamilton. Yeah.
And of course, Buster Keaton is. People see him more of as a comedic actor, or his movies were comedies.
I
More
don't
than
find them funny.
No?
No, I don't think violence is funny.
So
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
I think that Chad Stahelski's like secret is how funny he is,
yes,
and I think
that's a great point.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I think because I think like he thinks of an action scene, but he goes, but the only I need to put something funny at the beginning or end, or like there needs to be a punchline, but but
Quite literally a punchline.
yes.
Yeah.
I think the funniest thing that happens in John Wick 3, and you guys may have other ideas for this, but when John Wick is fighting in a hallway with these two guys, and then they break some glass, they look to the left of them and realize the hallway they're in
Yeah.
is a bunch of knives in cabinets. So they go, okay, so now we're going to start throwing knives at each other.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh every time. And the way they throw knives at each other like they're snowballs, just over and over and again. And sometimes they're getting hit with a blunt end.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's going right in, and then then another one comes right into their chest, right into their stomach. It's insane.
Yeah,
So
totally.
amazing.
And that it's all about timing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the comedy joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I might not leave that pause. It was a pregnant pause, but
Yeah.
he finishes them off with a headshot even when he's knife fighting too.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
got to be.
Like someone will be pin cushioned, just like look like a shish kebab, and he'll just go up to them and finish them off with like one to the head.
He
Yeah.
has the axe at the end of that.
Oh,
scene.
yeah.
Yes.
Tosses.
Yeah, a great example of that comedic timing where it's like he did not have to do that.
Yeah.
He's walking out and just gives you one last little bumper on the scene, right?
And it's right after he sticks the knife very slowly into Tiger Chen's
Yes.
eye.
Yes. Yeah, which was these are violent movies, but every now and again there'll be some element of like gore that I think punctuates, and that's probably
Sorry,
the goriest.
Punctuates?
Right, pretty good.
Punctuates?
Huh?
It
Yeah, I
was-
was not expecting him to go into his eyeball.
So that's another thing about John Wick 3, I think, is like with the other ones, it's mostly gun combat, right?
Mm.
And this one, it's sort of
Or pencil.
Yes, it makes
Yes.
it. Yeah, well, that's the other gory part in the other one, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
forgot about that. But this movie kind of does what Die Hard did to like the action genre in general. It just like kind of strips it down and be like, no, he doesn't have shoes, he doesn't have a gun, he needs to work to get this stuff. Where like basically the entire premise of the John Wick world is like he can get a gun wherever he wants. he just needs to like press a button or like go to a fucking, you know,
give him a coin.
Yeah, exactly. Give him a coin. And in this one, it's just like, no, you're incommunicado. You need to just to get one bullet. You have to work really hard. Like there's this scene where he goes into that armory and he's trying to get the bullet in one. He goes, it doesn't fit in this barrel. I need to.
He has to disassemble a gun and build a kind of Frankenstein one. Yeah.
For one bullet.
Yeah.
To shoot one guy in the head.
And again, timing, right? It's like as soon as he locks and loads it, he'll spin and the guy shows up as if, you know, his whole life was leading to the moment where his head exploded by John Wick.
And it is just funny to think like John Wick knows exactly where in any city to go to find this like gun to fix.
That's America for you.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Does John Wick ever come to Canada or with Trudeau's gun laws? Not likely.
He'd be fucked. There's no Continental in Canada.
I'm sure he would find it. That would be
where
good.
But it'd be in Montreal. Right?
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. It's kind of a different thing.
Yeah.
Well, just to drop in, we were joking last episode to John Wick 3 Perineum or John Wick 3
Lady Antebellum.
Lady Antebellum, yeah. Parabellum, right? 2 meanings. That's a double entendre.
More than one.
More than one. Spaced as 2 words, para and bellum is Latin for prepare for war. Used in the context of the phrase si vis pacem parabellum, meaning if you want peace, prepare for war, which Winston, the Ian McShane character, does say at the end. However, parabellum mushed together as one word is a type of like 9mm bullet. Parabellum fire cartridge designed in 1902 for the Luger pistol, but it's used in different variations of it for all sorts of guns.
So when the subtitle, when he's saying the Latin, it turns into a bullet.
That's it.
Cool.
Yeah. And you know what? Like a lot of times with like a movie's subtitle or whatever, it's kind of goofy. Especially when they try to have multiple meanings and layers on it.
I think it's still goofy.
Okay, listen. It's goofy
in
the way that everything in these movies is goofy, which is perfect.
Yes.
And we were talking about last episode how they're above parody or above because they are so heightened, and you buy into that the world that it's presenting so easily that anything can happen and you're going to buy it. Yeah. These movies have so many ridiculous things introduced seemingly out of nowhere, but it all fits into the puzzle so well that I'm waiting for something to come out that's like, okay, well, that doesn't, like in John Wick 4, if something is ludicrous, like I buy everything that happens,
and it does. And it does seem like the writing is like, what if we did this? What if we did this? But I think, and this is what I was trying to figure out earlier is he goes to this person to get this thing done. He goes to this person to get this thing done. Like little things, like I need you to just sew up the stitch in here. And he goes, well, there's going to be a consequence to this. Like that's how they stop their tracks. Like, you know, like, well, if you do this thing, there's also this other repercussion. It's not just this random thing, you know. It's not like Adventure Time, you know.
Right. The rules of the world have been set.
A berry princess.
Yeah. The rules are very explicit. Yeah. There's some levels of exposition that they will explain everything to you, but they don't over-explain it. And everybody seems to be on the same page, which is one of the joys of it. Like all the assassins kind of, you know, getting the text message at the same time or whatever.
And the rules are simple enough that it's like they don't trip over themselves too much. Like it oddly, like when you have high concept, but the rules are overcomplicated, that's when you get the plot holes and you're like, oh, well, that's bullshit, right? Because why doesn't he just do that? But in this case, it's like the rules are simple enough that you could follow along. Yeah. They never really hoist by their own petard. Yeah, and whenever
they need to bend it, like in the final set piece, which is set in the Continental Hotel, all you need is the adjudicator character come and make the phone call and say, actually, we're going to set it. Like, it's okay to kill people on the Continental grounds. Click, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess that's a rule. I guess they have adjudicators. I guess they're, you know, et cetera, et cetera.
I did think of a plot hole.
Oh, uh-oh.
So, at the beginning, John Wick goes to
Johnny Rico.
John Rick and Morty.
I'm going to jail, Morty.
Yeah.
I'm going to jail.
You know what they do to guys like me in jail, Morty?
He goes and gets stitches, and then has this like huge fight scene. Whenever I have gotten stitches, they tell you not to move that thing, or the stitches will come out.
Right, but these are magic assassin stitches.
Yes.
You see him sprinkle some sort of powder into the right.
Yeah.
So we don't really know exactly. So it's actually not a plot hole. If you think about it.
It is funny. Like, yeah, I mean, for like they have their cake and eat it too, right? Because like for like all the '80s action movies, like pre-Die Hard, you know, like Schwarzenegger had so many bullets he never had to reload.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He doesn't. They're not keeping track of the bullets in Commando.
Yeah, exactly.
They're flying everywhere. Yeah.
And but like that's
all the
that's
better for it.
and that's very it's always, and like I love that in those movies. Like I don't
Totally.
give a shit, but it is really fun when John Wick runs out of bullets.
Yeah.
And he has to like load it.
There are a couple. There's one. Maybe it's Halle Berry, but where out of bullets drops the clip and picks up the clip from the guy she just killed to
Yeah.
reload, and then shoots him in the face again.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, he's not even dead yet.
Right,
He's like
right.
just waiting to die, and
Yeah.
she takes his own barrel.
She's really good in this too. It's
great.
not a big role, I guess, but like I think out of all of the
Tertiary character.
tertiary characters that get introduced and cameos and so on, I guess it's she's one of the only ones to actually have like a big dedicated fight scene. Common in the last one as well, which is pretty cool. And yeah, she like pulls it off just as well as Keanu. Like
Yeah, she's kind of what I was talking about, like the sexy. I'm putting this in quotes, the sexy casting choice.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But also, like, I don't know, she hadn't done much around that time.
no, I guess
Right?
not.
I feel like it'd be more of a gamble to like have cast Halle Berry around then. You
Yeah,
know?
I think it's probably because she had the time to rehearse for 5 months with these dogs. You know.
Fair
Right.
point.
Yeah.
Fair point.
Like, yeah, it's not like he's like casting like Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah.
He's like so busy. you
Yeah,
know?
right. They're not going for the biggest name they can get. Yeah.
Anya Taylor-Joy doesn't have time to live with dogs.
Yeah. It's like in the people were joking about the end of the menu. Did you either of you see the menu?
I have
I saw the menu. Yeah,
Right.
I kind of went through my head like vapor. So you
Oh,
might
yeah,
have to
totally.
remind me what happened.
No, it's
but-
perfect. Not a vaporous movie, not a vaporwave movie.
No.
These are much closer to that.
These are
Yeah.
more vapor.
Um,
But there's no diegetic dubstep in this movie.
no,
That's true.
what am I going to put at the end of the episode?
Yeah.
Dope smoker.
Yeah, great.
Because there's a scene when John's in the desert and it looks like the poster, like looks like the Dope Smoker album
Yeah.
cover, and then
Well,
he
only because
encounters
he's in the desert.
like the Weedians.
He does encounter the Weedians,
Oh,
who are above the high table. They're so high, they're actually
Right.
above the high table.
Ooh.
Think about that.
Sleep reference confirmed.
Draw boat of life. Yeah.
What were you gonna say about the menu? Feel
Yeah,
free to
right.
spoil
Oh yeah.
it.
Well, just at the end when she's eating the cheeseburger, and it's like she's never had a cheeseburger, which is not
I think
necessarily.
that's what
true or
people
whatever.
love about her, because she looks like a doll, but she'd eat a cheeseburger with me.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
She only eats watercress.
Yeah. Exactly.
Handfuls of watercress.
Foraging.
Yeah, so there's no like Killing Strangers song. There's no dubstep. I honestly I remember like that was like a big thing when the first John Wick came out. It's just like the dubstep is actually good, and like the
Right.
scene with the dubstep is fucking awesome, and it's like almost like a dance scene and all this shit. And like this one was just like, okay, yeah, we already did that. Let's do it. Let's do a different thing.
They're evolving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the climax in this one takes place in like a mirrored room that's almost exactly like the climax of the second one.
It is similar. Yeah. But
Then the crystal skull room where he
What?
keeps
Yeah.
breaking
Yeah.
the glass.
Yeah.
It's just,
What was that room?
yeah, it is. I think I was saying like at the level of kind of Police Story where have you guys seen that? You've seen.
I've seen
Story,
Police
yeah.
Story, yeah.
I've seen number 2.
But I don't
Number two,
remember what
okay.
you're referencing with the glass breaking.
Just at the end when they're at the mall, there's so much glass that
Right.
almost everybody gets kicked through,
Right.
almost as if it's intentional that they have to fly through the glass. It kind of reminded me of that, where there's just like a row of glass skull, like crystal skull vodka before the vodka's put in, and Dan Aykroyd's there with a jeweler's eye, just making sure everything is perfect. Yeah. Yeah, rows and rows and rows of them, and then when they burst through the floor, they go to the other layer, and it's the same room with all the skulls. It's like they have 2 rooms on top of each other just to house my precious Fabergé egg skull collection. Yeah.
I guess we could talk about Mark Dacascos.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
Oh, before we do, brief shout out to Angelica Houston, who's
Yes.
It was great to see her.
who's John Wick's
Belarusian like mentor.
I guess she's the one who tells us your name was Giordani.
Jonathan
she's-
Lipwicki.
Yeah. I am from Belarus. Yeah.
She's
All her
introduced
accents are
being mean to a
Italian.
ballerina.
Yes, yeah. That ballerina will come back in Ballerina.
I can't believe, having watched that's the character they gave like a prequel movie to, because she doesn't really do. She's just performing ballet.
Oh no,
in the
I think
background.
she's just probably like Anna de Armas is probably just from that world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or even if it is supposed to be that specific ballerina, like
Yeah.
I'm sure they weren't really thinking about it. And then when Anna de Armas was getting big, they were like, because she had that great scene in the James Bond movie No Time to Die.
Somebody was like, give this woman.
Yeah, and I think people were saying, why don't we have a spin-off with her, like her assassin from that?
Yeah,
Which whatever, but this is going to be that, right? So
I'm
they pulled it
like
together.
I'm not like as excited for like the John Wick spin-offs they keep talking about.
Yeah.
Because like I mean I mostly love the first Conjuring, but I don't love like Annabelle and
Oh
The
yeah, I
Boy.
guess those are all. Oh god, whenever we do that,
I can't
do we have to
wait.
do all of those?
Yes.
the boy isn't Conjuring though.
Oh,
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, the boy is Brahms is his own guy.
okay.
Yeah.
You're
My
good.
bad.
I don't know
You're good.
anything
but
about
there is a boy. Brahms has his own fucking franchise. You can
Perfect.
The only thing I know about those movies is that the second one is called Brahms the Boy 2.
Yes.
Which is like, if you don't know anything about those movies, is it a really interesting title? Brahms, okay. The Boy,
Yeah.
okay. 2. Okay. Yeah.
I really want a Bowery King spinoff with Lawrence Fishburne as.
See that I would love.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. Well, weren't they talking about a Continental TV show?
Yeah,
spin-off?
that's also
Right.
what I was referencing.
And would
Yeah.
that have had Lance Reddick's character in it?
Oh, well, maybe it would be a different location.
Yeah.
Um,
Some more.
Maybe like the White Lotus. Every season they go to a different continent.
Yeah,
Love that.
yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Or yeah, he.
Mike White writes it.
Yeah. Lance Reddick's character in these movies is called Charon, or Charon, this Charon, who is from Greek mythology, the ferryman who grants you safe passage along the river Styx in exchange for a gold coin. You ever think about that?
Oh my god.
Yeah. Layers deep.
3D chess.
Yeah. Although I don't know if they ever actually say his name on screen or if it's just in the credits. or
And that's
whatever,
also like really cool for the New York office. But like, what was the guy's name in Rome?
but
you
they're
know?
all named Charon.
Okay, yeah.
It's a code.
Okay.
Yeah. My name is Sharon.
But that's something we spoke about like last time we watched it, but we didn't talk about it on the pod. It's like, could you walk into the New York Continental just thinking it's like a nice hotel and building, and then
Yeah, do they have rooms for normies?
regular
It's like when you walk into a storefront thinking it's a store and then you realize it's someone's apartment. Like, oh fuck.
Why am I shouldn't be here. Yeah, so one thing I wanted to ask you about, Joel, because I know you like DTV action a lot, and you actually watch a lot of those movies.
I do.
Yeah.
I feel like this year I've been kind of slacking on them. Like I didn't watch a lot of the actually direct to video from 2022, but I've been catching up on stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, so where how do you think that those movies sort of relate to John Wick, and how does it
I do
excel at
Yeah, I do
you
kind
know?
of feel like those movies in the 2000s, like Scott Adkins and Jean-Claude Van Damme and a handful of others. I mean, there are people that make them and they're bad, obviously, like the Bruce Willis ones and the John Travolta. I mean, I heard some of the John Travolta ones are good, so I don't want to be. I try not to be smarmy about this stuff, you know, because like.
You more than anyone has the right to be smarmy about some of it because you actually watch these movies.
But
like,
more
you
people
know.
watch them. People do it better than me, you know.
Well, yeah, I guess no one is better than the three of us.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
So I think that I mean, I can't speak for the people making these DTV action movies, but I do think that they feel seen by the John Wick franchise. In what I was sort of saying before, and it's just like they kind of work hard on the fight scenes. Like in DTV action movies, you can see sometimes that where they put all their money was making the fights good,
Right.
where the movies don't look good, and the scripts are sort of kind of hastily put together.
Yeah.
You know, the quality is some of them are quite good. And Scott Adkins, am I doing the chapter 4 episode?
Yeah. I mean, if you're free.
Yeah, I'd be down. But I can talk more about him next week.
Yes, because he is in
he's
John
playing
Wick 4.
Killa. Yes,
he's playing Killa.
Yeah,
our new favorite character, soon to be.
Yes, and maybe he's got some makeup on, so maybe he can do a Fraser thing next year.
He's in a fat suit,
Yes.
and so people are already calling him Scott Fatkins.
Yes,
Yeah.
Very good.
So I'm interested to meet Killa, especially because
We've got all these characters.
if you're going to cast Scott Adkins, you got to put him in a fight scene.
Yeah, there's no way he's not going to be some big guy who's going to try to kill John Wick, right?
I would and Donnie Yen's in 4 as
Donnie
well.
Yen, yeah.
I mean, it just shows me that Chad cares about getting good fight performances from people. That's why he casts them.
Yeah.
You know?
He's casting Donnie Yen for his legacy of fight scenes and action choreography, not because he's the biggest name in Hollywood.
Right. And that's why, like, Scott Adkins and a couple others' names aren't coming to me. Michael Jai White is one of them.
Right.
Who shows up in a lot of these DTV action things. And it's like, it's actually them fighting. And that's what kind of sets it apart from when you see, like, I don't know, Fast and Furious, for example, and it's just like stunt doubles and shit, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, Liam Neeson movies, big time.
Yeah.
I mean,
definitely.
as much as I like those, but like, I don't know, you can see when he has his stunt double, right?
Yeah.
And like, there's this movie called Jiu-Jitsu where it's like, you know, Tony Jaa and Frank Grillo and this guy called, what's his fucking name? It's a Greek guy. DTV action fans are yelling at
Jason
their...
Mantzoukas.
Giannis Philippakis.
Yes, it's Giannis Yiannopoulos. But they're all doing their own stunts. But then Nicolas Cage comes in at the end of the movie, and it's just like so not him when he fights. It's hilarious because everyone else, you're like watching the movie, okay, this movie's not great, but at least they're doing their own stunts. And then it's like a guy so much thinner and more jacked than Nicolas Cage comes to do his fight scenes.
Yeah, it's funny, right? It's the okay, everybody. Number 1 on the call sheet is here.
Yeah,
he doesn't have to do any of the things you have to do.
Yeah, exactly,
because he can.
And I mean, that's what happens with a lot of these DTV stuff. I mean, most of the Bruce Willis stuff, he's on the poster, but he's in like 3 scenes.
Yeah, right.
And then someone else is being like the actual main character.
Right.
And so that's what happens with that Nick Cage movie. It's killing me what that guy's name is. Fuck.
You can look it up.
Okay, I'm going to look it up because he's also in the Kickboxer sequels. And that's another thing is that all the DTV sequels, so there's like, and there a lot of them are Jean-Claude Van Damme sequels.
Right.
So, and I think the ones that people point out as like the best ones, and I agree, of the DTV sequels are the Universal Soldier sequels.
Right.
So
I think I brought those up when we were talking last episode.
Yeah. They are directed by John Hyams, who is going on to do bigger things now.
Yes. Yeah, he made Sick, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I did. Yeah.
Rules. Right?
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. The COVID stuff's a little dumb. But
yeah, you know, it's a COVID slasher. It's
but the
whatever,
slasher wise, it's really good.
Yeah.
But
the killer was the novel coronavirus all along.
Let me just find this. Sorry. Do you know about Scott Adkins at all?
No, not really. No.
Yeah, I was probably, I think I maybe heard the name, but only when I met Joel did I kind of understand the world of Scott Adkins.
Alain Moussi. That's the guy I'm thinking of. He's in a bunch of them. And
I understand the world. I mean, I haven't really watched any of the movies, but I do know who he is, and I've seen a lot of his fight scenes.
Yeah. Scott Adkins is kind of the all-star. When you see him, when he's on a poster, it's just like, okay, there's going to be at least one good scene in this.
Yeah.
He does a lot of one-ers as well. Like, he like Keanu, must have, like, a say in what he's doing. You know what I mean? Like, he's very
absolutely.
careful about that.
Yeah.
Obviously, Tony Jaa. A lot of those guys in the raid, the 2 guys in the raid that are in John Wick 4, 3, they pop up in a lot of DTV stuff, but obviously Tiger Chen, and then there's Iko Uwais from the raid, the main guy. He was supposed to be in John Wick 4. I heard a rumor, but I don't think he is anymore. Maybe they're saving him for 5. He should be in it. He fucking rules. Have you seen The Night Comes for Us?
No. I've seen It Comes at Night.
much better than that piece of shit. Anyway, I feel like I'm getting too nerdy now. I don't even.
That's why
I don't even have a
asked you
point
on the show.
I don't even have a point anymore. I'm just being nerdy.
Well, talking about really good fight performances, I was super impressed by NBA star Boban Marjanovic. He did great in his fight scene.
That scene's awesome.
He gets
the
dispatched
first
by a
fight
book.
scene in the movie, right?
Yeah. And they really let his like giant hands do a lot of the talking, like because he has humorously large hands. You know, he's 7'4". He's 7'4" and he weighs almost 300 pounds.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I weigh 300. I mean, I could do whatever he does. It's not really a big deal.
Imagine the Academy people saw John Wick 3 and they're like, well, we got to give them the makeup award for that guy in the beginning.
Look at his hands.
Yeah. For their monstrous creation. Yeah. I'm right here.
He comes and accepts the award.
Thank you for the award.
He
still got the makeup on.
He starts out with a knife, I think, and then it's disarmed. And then he is just using his hands. Like he grabs John Wick's face, and his hand covers his entire face.
Yeah.
I did. The first time I saw it, I thought it was CGI.
Yeah, very impressive. Yeah.
There's like a famous photo of him like almost palming a basketball like halfway with just his giant hands. Like,
does he still play basketball?
I don't know if he still does. I feel like when you're that large, you probably encounter some health problems, even though like basketball is like non-contact, like it might be rough on the joints and stuff. But
fighting John Wick, you know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I love that John Wick kills him with a book.
That was books as weapons, anything's a weapon.
And then there's horses' weapons.
Yeah, he makes him eat the book, and then he punches the book into his face, and then he falls over.
He sets the book down like a little like guillotine like thing, and then just cracks his neck over the book.
It's insane.
It is insane.
Incredible. They say, okay, John Wick's gonna fight this huge guy in a library. So what are we gonna do? He's gonna kill him with a book. Oh yeah, okay,
Yeah.
Lance Reddick picks up a gun too.
With armor piercing rounds.
Yeah. That's another great kind of like we were talking about video gamey sort of element to it is the siege on the Continental at the end of the movie. All of the faceless bad guys are in like armored gear, and so at first. The first wave, John Wick has to he'll shoot them and they fall over, but they get back up. So he has to shoot them enough that they're kind of away from him and don't have their weapons. And then when he gets in close, he holds them by their helmet and shoots them in the neck like hole sort of that is created by the armor. It's just like all the different ways that...
Or he lifts up their visor.
Yeah. That and the dog scene are two great examples of... You're like, how are they going to make the gun fu fight scene interesting? We've seen so many of them, and just adding that extra layer,
like a video game, like new power ups. Like the dogs are like a power up you could have, and let loose the dogs.
Summon
and then
dog.
the elite soldiers at the end, it's like the video game enemies. You have to like flip them on their underside and then hop on them or whatever. You know, they're like Koopas from Mario.
It was cool seeing Lance Reddick have a gun. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember when the first time I saw that, it was like when I was a kid and I saw Yoda pick up that lightsaber in Attack of the Clones.
Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah.
And just like Yoda in that movie, Lance Reddick becomes CG animated and is jumping around all the way. Yeah.
I remember rushing home and going up to my mom and being like, Yoda fights. You're not gonna believe this. Yoda fights.
Yeah, I remember talking to kids at school about that, like, oh, that Yoda fight scene, and everyone was like, "Oh my god!"
It made us all take Yoda way too seriously and forget that in like Empire, he's like
kind of a troll,
goof,
little stinker, as they say,
and that so much so that people like hated that scene in Last Jedi when he comes.
That was one of the best parts of that movie.
He's so goofy, and he's goofy.
Yeah,
he's fucking weird.
People are like, "Oh, he looks like a puppet." It's like he should be a puppet. Yeah. The first scene, I have had the pleasure a number of times of watching Empire Strikes Back with like someone who hadn't seen the movies and doesn't know even really who Yoda is. Like, I remember showing it to my cousin when he was younger and getting into Star Wars, and I don't think. I mean, maybe he must have known Yoda, like that image. Yeah. But I think when Yoda comes on, I don't think he knew that he was like the Jedi Master or whatever. And he's picking through Luke's stuff and eating his food, and he's like, yes. That's my Yoda impression.
That's pretty good.
It's only when he eats, yeah.
Well, yeah, and he's like, where the fuck is Yoda?
Yeah. I have one more impression for you. Ready?
You can't be Yoda. Yeah, go on, sorry.
This is Fozzie Bear playing Yoda.
Should I take my headphones off?
No, it won't be loud. And of course Fozzie Bear and Yoda are voiced and performed by the same man, Frank Oz. So it's yes. Okay, and it goes Yoda. Pretty good, huh? He says his own name like a Pokemon. Really yeah. Thank you.
Speaking of, do you remember that scene in American Werewolf in London when Frank Oz just inexplicably is playing the Doctor?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, Mr. Kessler.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mr. Kessler, what are you doing?
Poor Frank Oz. Yeah. He really does have to strain his voice to not sound like Miss Piggy.
Yeah. Well, do you know the story of Marlon Brando being really rude to him on the set of the score?
Yeah, I just watched the score, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think because, like Marlon Brando in that movie, I'm overweight and close to death. And I wanted to watch Marlon Brando in his last role. Yeah, he
What did he do to Frank Oz?
He hated him. They wouldn't get along, and he kept calling him Miss Piggy.
Right. I was going to say Yoda, but it's Miss Piggy, right?
Yeah. And he just wouldn't take him seriously. So when I think De Niro actually kind of helped direct those scenes, and Frank Oz was calling the shots from like another room.
Oh my God.
De Niro had to like talk to Marlon Brando or something. Like, stop being a dick.
Did you ever see the score?
Yeah, I did.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously, Edward Norton gets to do his favorite thing.
Yes. Edward Norton does what Edward Norton does best, which is affect a mentally handicapped individual and then reveal that it's a ruse. He does that in 2 to 4 movies. I'm not 100% sure.
He's going around doing that all the time.
He's done it a couple of times, and it's a very like, well, obviously it's a very like 2001 kind of this is offensive-y kind of thing, but it's also a total Edward Norton actor brain thing where he's like, this will really show them that I can do it anyway, you know? Yeah.
How has he not won an Oscar yet?
Yeah. Well, it's great. Now he only plays comedic variations on his old roles, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't.
And, I don't know. He's pretty good at it.
He is good at it. Yeah.
Because you know, I watched Birdman recently, and he's kind of the best part of that movie.
I'm sure. Yeah. I don't like that movie. But I haven't seen it since it came out. But
I have a nostalgic part of me. I loved it when it came out, but I was 20 or whatever, 21.
Yeah.
And
oh my God, it's one shot.
Yeah, exactly. And just like I was in theater school at the time and all this stuff, I was just like, this is speaking to me, a movie about actors, and I'm an actor. And and I watched it recently in the theater, so good, good like sort of circumstance, and I enjoyed it enough, but I also thought it was so dumb and so full of shit.
Yes, it is full of shit.
But it is really funny.
Yeah,
it is.
Did you see Bardo, his new movie?
No, but I think that's why I was playing at the Lightbox.
Yeah, that makes sense.
At the same time.
Yeah. It is, I would say, similarly full of shit.
Okay. I would. That's one thing I expected with Bardo.
Yeah, but couple of good ideas in there. Yeah.
So, in a clip of 10 Parabellum bullets, how many Parabellum bullets out of 10 would you give this movie?
I'm going with. I mean, I think in the past I've underrated this movie as like and given it less stars, but I would give it as many stars as I can give it. As many Parabellum bullets.
Parabellum bullets.
Yeah.
I would. There
you go.
I'm an 8 bullet man.
Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah. Geez, I think I liked it more than the first one, just because I like these sequels and where they've gone.
Yeah, same.
I don't know if I enjoyed it quite as much as the second one, because the second one is sillier.
Right.
I appreciated the reveals of the second one of how deep the world went.
Yeah,
you know?
and-
that's
and-
what I really dug.
Exactly, and I think now that we know that how these are going to be, the expectations are set for that.
Right,
But I really like this. I mean, I'd give it probably an 8 or.
I gave the second one an 8, a 4 out of 5, and I think I would give this one the same rating.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I just
Sliding scale.
personally prefer the second one, but I think they're like both on par in terms of being like fun,
Yeah.
visceral, like enjoyable
Really
action
good,
movies.
yeah.
I will say, guys, though, I'm not, and this is, I love all these movies. The second one is the lowest for me, I think.
Oh yeah.
I think the second one sets up 3 really well.
That's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You
think,
can't really have 3 without the second
exactly.
one.
No,
yeah.
no.
And I think 1 obviously sets up 2 really well, but 1, I think, if there was no sequels, it would be seen as like a perfect movie, I think.
It's a standalone for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
One other number we have to come up with is
Of course.
how many people does John Wick kill in this movie? Joel, do you know these numbers?
No.
Or- okay.
No,
So
I would guess it was more, even more.
it was 77 in the first movie,
Okay.
and then I believe it was
128.
128 in the second movie,
Okay.
which is crazy. So think about this one.
Is it more?
A couple things to remember with this one. He's on the run most of the time, so it's not quite as sustained.
Right.
Although the movie is also 10 minutes longer than the second one. Something else to consider. He has sidekicks. So we're
Yes.
not talking about Halle Berry's skills.
Right.
We're not talking
Lance
about
Reddick.
Lance Reddick's skills. So things to consider.
There's less scenes in which he kills henchmen. There's longer in this movie. There's longer scenes of him just fighting
With Mark Dacascos.
who we still
Oh
haven't
yeah,
talked about.
okay. Let's do a Mark Dacascos talk really quick before we
Okay,
get to the number. But in your brains, think about where is it?
This is where I love Chad casting Mark Dacascos here, because he's not even like DTV Scott Adkins brain stuff. He's like 90s like straight to video type actor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like he was just American. I think he's plays Japanese in this movie, but he's actually Hawaiian.
He's a sushi chef when
he's a
you first
sushi
meet him.
chef when you first meet him, but he's actually Hawaiian in real life. I'm pretty sure. I hope I'm not wrong, but I just feel like he's in like greasy action movies from the 90s, like Drive, which I haven't seen, but he's also in like Double Dragon. I don't know, just like movies, like video
Drive
bottom of the video store rack
Yeah.
movies, and I just feel like Chad Stahelski's probably admired him for a while, maybe worked with him, and just like, this is the guy. I know this guy would be great. You know what I mean? Like, not casting Jason Momoa instead. You know, it's just great. He just knows that he's going to be good. So I just like that. I love that. And he's great, and he's introduced very stoically, but then we realize that he's kind of a surfer guy, big fan.
He's
Yeah.
a stan, yeah.
It's really funny. So the two guys in the raid have a moment at the end fight scene, which is the last fight before Mark Dacascos fights, and they have a moment where they both have they're on top of John Wick and they have their knives out, but they pull back and they're like, it's actually really cool that we're fighting right now. It's an honor to meet you. We're big fans, blah, blah, blah. And Mark Dacascos has a scene like that. Actually, a couple times where he, like, even at the end when he's got the sword through his body and he's dying, and we all laughed, right? And he's like, there's like a beat of silence, and he's like, "That was a pretty cool fight." Huh?
he's impressed with himself.
Yeah.
Because we have these questions when we watch these movies, like, why do you even bother fighting John Wick?
Yeah, what's the point? Like $14 million, but you're not going to get it, right?
It's like, because they want to fight John Wick.
Yeah, it's an honor to die by it. Yeah, and he lets the guys in the raid live.
Yeah,
because of the honor they showed him, but. Mark Dacascos, I think he thought, was a little too clingy.
Yeah, he does not like him.
No, he doesn't
like him.
Yeah, he's like, because right when he's dying, he's like, "I'll see you next time."
Yeah, he's like, "No,
John."
you
He's
won't."
like, no.
And it is juxtaposition from the past two, where he is seeing people from his past who are he worked with or was friends with or were as adversarial with, but in this one it's like there was those 5 years where he was just a legend.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, and then the past couple of weeks where it's just like, he's killed how many people because of a dog in a car? It's like, oh my God, this guy's insane. You know.
Well, how many people in John Wick 3 do you think?
I'll let you go first because
I honestly don't know. I'm going to guess in between 1 and 2, I'll say 100.
100, okay.
oh man, I'm gonna go. I never know with these things. I'm gonna go even lower, 80.
80, okay. Well, in the Price is Right rules, it's 94.
Oh, okay. So you
Yeah.
won.
Yeah,
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. 94. So not 128,
Yeah.
but more than the first one.
I'm
He
counting.
kills a lot of faceless people in John Wick 2.
Yes, he
Yeah.
does.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm counting on like 500 in John Wick 4. It's 3
Well,
hours long.
So okay, John Wick 4, like, if it has a whole extra hour to these movies, he has to break the record, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like I still can't believe that in the second one he single-handedly kills almost 130 people.
And in the fourth one, he's going to be like basically going to war with the High Table and Ian McShane. It's like him
Right.
and the Bowery King versus the world, really.
And the TikTok man.
And Jason Mantzoukas.
TikTok, Mr. Wick. All the comedy Bang Bang guys should appear in different. Yeah. Brett Gelman, that'd be good.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That
Yeah.
what I just said was more of a Brett Gelman.
What was
TikTok, Mr. Wick.
Bob Duca is there with,
Yeah.
with the neck brace on.
Oh, I should listen to that again. All my old friends. Anyway,
Yeah, this is a great movie. I can't wait for John Wick 4. I can't wait to meet Killa. That's my main thing.
yeah, we're all excited to meet our new best friend, Killa.
Yeah.
I just love that they gave this one a subtitle that's so clever and so smart. And they were like, well, we can't top that.
Yeah.
No more
Yeah.
subtitles.
Yeah, I saw on a poster that they're like, it doesn't officially have a subtitle, but
Yes.
it was like Annihilation or something. Or
No,
No, that's terrible.
Yeah, yeah. It turns out it's actually another type of bullet.
So I have not. The only thing I have spoiled for me is Killa's look because I was on Twitter one day.
You saw the
And
poster.
I saw the
Yeah.
Killa character poster.
Yeah.
And I literally closed my eyes and ears when the John Wick 4 trailer comes on at the theater.
It's okay. No, that's good. You're a purist.
I know.
Yeah.
It's because I was trying to do that with John Wick 3, and then I was like, this is stupid. I opened my eyes for a second, and I see John Wick on a horse, and I was like, no! Don't spoil that for me.
He's on a horse.
Yeah.
It's like the scene in Adaptation. He's like, it's like machine versus horse. It's like man versus horse. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Like, I'm excited for it too.
Have you guys watched trailers?
I think I might have seen one passively.
Yeah, they
I haven't
played one
really-
before Cocaine Bear.
And I closed
Right.
my eyes and ears.
I didn't. I was just like, oh, yeah, John Wick 4.
Is it lame that I do that?
No.
No? Okay.
No. Well, you're asking two people who like movies.
Yes.
Yeah. I had a
love
super
even.
like embarrassing moment when I went to go see Portrait of a Lady on Fire at TIFF. For some reason, they had like, I hadn't seen anything of it. I just like heard from you that
You
it
went
was
to
good.
the one that had the screen
And-
breakdown in front of it, right?
Yeah, it had an introduction by Celine Sciamma where she was, I hadn't seen anything about it. I just knew it was supposed to be really good. And she starts talking about like the relationship. And so I literally, like I assumed like crash landing pose on an airplane. And I put my like head like down by my
You didn't want
knees,
anything.
Yeah, and covered my ears and just went, I
This
can't
guy
believe it."
hates women.
Yeah. Before the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a woman director! No.
Yeah. That, I mean, that is kind of unfortunate.
I couldn't believe that they did that.
Well, yeah. Sometimes at TIFF you got to check the specific,
Yeah.
like, and click on the thing because then it'll say, "Oh, intro by whoever." But most of the time, those intros and talks there, unless they're like a noted extended thing, it'll be like a 10-15 minute thing.
Yeah.
Except for one time I think on my birthday, I took some friends to see Douglas Trumbull, the special effects designer.
Right.
2001: Space Odyssey, all these great movies. We went to Silent Running, which he directed, which is Bruce Dern and a bunch of robots in space. It's great movie. And it was like, oh, he's giving a talk before. And the talk ended up being nearly an hour-long lecture on the movie that
Oh,
none of us
Kevin
had seen.
Smith.
Yeah, and my friends were like, they were very nice. They weren't pissed off, but they were like,
Ben, what did you do?
"Why he's still talking?"
Did you go to that Tenet? Was it Tenebrae screening?
Oh, with the Goblin Score? No, I didn't. We last saw each other at that.
We saw Inferno.
Inferno, yeah.
So there
That was
was a
a good
Tenebrae
movie.
screening where I thought it was going to be a live score, but
Yeah.
no, it was like a concert.
Oh, cool.
He just played a bunch, but it was like 45 minutes before the movie started.
Not along to the movie.
No,
Oh,
it wasn't
wow.
with the movie. He played like a bunch of different scores.
So the movie ended at like 1:00 or something.
Yeah, it was late, but it also he had like a backing track and he was just playing the keyboard.
Yeah, of course. That score is really good.
Yeah, well,
It's,
it was more than just the Tenebrae score. It was
Yeah.
like all the Goblin scores for Dario Argento.
So far, John Wick's been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Looking
it's
forward
Thanks for
to.
having me on.
It's really good.
Thank you for coming
Do
on.
you mind if
Yeah.
I plug some shit?
No, I would love you to.
True. Yeah,
but
we should probably plug our shit
yeah,
too.
let's you plug yours and we'll
Yeah.
plug ours,
Okay.
and everybody knows that you're going to be plugging it to hundreds of thousands of listeners.
yes.
We always
Well,
forget to plug.
Well,
Yeah.
if you are in Toronto, I have my stand-up comedy album taping on April
shit.
22nd. I'm recording my first album.
Can I come?
Of course.
Okay, I'm coming.
Yes.
April 22nd.
April 22nd, 8:30 p.m. and 10 p.m. At Comedy Bar, comedybar.ca. Go to schedule and you can find it there. I will put it on my Instagram bio soon. Otherwise, also you can listen to my podcast, which is about Survivor if you like Survivor. It's called Merge Boot, a Survivor podcast.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
Survivor's back.
Oh yeah. Joel, you would say it never left.
Well, it left for a year during the COVID-19
No,
pandemic.
it did leave, and it is back.
But it's
Sorry.
been back. This is the fourth season since it's been back. Yes,
Oh,
and
cool.
and I know why you're thinking it's back because it's been heavily advertised. This season. I don't know why, but yes,
Yeah.
it's all over all this subways, cars, and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet. Okay, great. Well, yeah, and
Well, I'm sure your studio isn't nearly as nice.
Hey,
As the
I think this
Thunderdome.
is a good studio. You guys, I was expecting you just to have the Zoom recorder in the middle of the table or something.
That's essentially what we.
I mean,
No,
it is
you
in the
have
middle.
microphones.
It is
Yeah.
in the middle of the table.
No, we do have microphones, and that is something I've noticed. I've listened to some other kind of whatever amateur or starting out podcasts, and at least the microphones are okay.
Sound is
this,
good.
Yeah.
Because some of those don't have that even. So.
I got to get some of that black foam. The
Yes,
pointy,
we have to-
pointy black foam.
Ethan Hawke movie.
Yeah, the black foam. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That
Took
was
me a
great.
second.
I think they should have called that movie Ghost Phone. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Well, I didn't see it. Still haven't.
It's
I'm probably going to
it's,
see it in
you know,
October. I'm waiting to watch it in October.
Right.
Yeah.
The horror month.
Oh, are
with
you
the-
the other
the
fellow
pumpkin beer.
who has long Halloween movie marathons? You were going to
That
like
is
some.
me.
Oh
of
yeah, I
them.
went to.
Yeah.
I did go to your last one. Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Why did you do one too?
Yeah, we do one too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like you were doing that the day after.
I think so. Yes.
You
I
masochist.
like to watch
Yeah.
movies. Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. It. Which one? Oh, Bay of Blood.
Bay
That
of
was
Blood,
fun.
we
And
watched
Old.
Old.
Yeah. Watching Old again. Like with your friends who hadn't seen it and stuff. Like it's reminded me just how good it actually is.
It is pretty good.
It is pretty good. Yeah.
I may have underrated it. But I thought
Well,
it was-
you know, it's
it's
alright.
insane.
Yeah. It is insane.
You guys wanted to plug.
Yeah.
We're on Spotify, Google, Apple, all the places you listen to podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, rate, review, and subscribe, as they say. But I mean, actually try to do it. I've been listening to shows for years where they say that, and I still haven't done it. And then after starting my show, I was like, oh shit, like
I'm a piece of shit.
I'm such a piece of shit. So I started to do it a little bit, and it does actually affect the metrics and all that other stuff. So.
The only times I've done it is when they give incentive. When they're like, we'll review a movie on the podcast.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you between this episode and John Wick 4 coming out, if you give us a 5-star rating or whatever rating you want to give, we will send you naked boudoir photos.
Of Scott Atkins and his killer costume.
Yeah. No, I will send you Brendan Fraser the whale nudes. Does that sound good?
Where do I sign up? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can get those off the
Dark
Blu-ray.
web?
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, I'm excited for John Wick 4, and I hope everyone else is too.
Well, let's figure out when we can see it.
Yeah.
And if it works out, Joel will be back.
Mm-hmm.
The return. of Joel.
I'm thinking I'm back.
I'm thinking I'm back. And join us next week. We're going to be live in the theater, fresh off the theater.
Oh, one thing I wanted to say again is watching John Wick 3 at noon reminded me of when we saw the premiere of Uncut Gems at 10 a.m.
Yeah, that was
Sick.
fucked. That was way too early to watch that. And remember my fucking phone alarm went off?
People were just like, yeah, that's just part of the movie.
That was like a nightmare. We were talking about in this episode about how we love the theatrical experience and respect it, especially at a film festival during the festival, like at TIFF.
Adam Sandler's there.
The Safdies are there, my close personal friends.
The Sandman.
The Sandman, yeah.
The Safman.
Everybody in that movie was there except for Kevin Garnett, who had to go back to play basketball, which makes sense.
Uncle Boris himself, Judd Hirsch, was there.
Yes. Julia Fox was there.
Yes.
Habra.
Yeah. Everyone was doing that.
This was pre-TikTok.
It was pre-TikTok, yeah. The because it was so early, I think I had set multiple alarms for something or other because I might have been out the night before, and for some reason I had an 11 a.m. alarm, and or maybe a 10:30 or something.
10:30 or whatever, yeah.
In the beginning of the movie, it went off, and I would have killed myself had I noticed, but we didn't notice because all the movie was so tense and there were so many bleeps and bloops and stuff.
A lot of phone ringings and stuff like that.
So it was actually kind of worked out.
I think we thought it was going on for 10 minutes. I think it was only like a minute or two.
It probably wasn't that bad.
But you were looking around, and I started looking around too, and then when you realized, I was like, oh shit.
I felt terrible, but it was okay. It was okay.
It was fun.
Yeah. And I mean, that movie went on to be a huge success. So it's all because of me.
Best actor, best picture.
Yep.
In our hearts.
I shook the Safdie brothers' hands.
I remember that day.
Yeah.
Yes.
So hasn't watched it since.
I have another story about that movie, but for another time when we do the Uncut Gems
Safdieverse.
The Safdieverse, yeah.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye. Thanks for having me.